The noise of the market hurt Nixara's ears. She stood on a raised platform, her wrists and ankles bound with heavy metal chains. The blue scales on her skin had lost their shine after 3 years in captivity. Once she had been a proud navigator for her people's ships. Now she was just another item for sale. Next up, a female Lyrian, strong back, good health despite some behavior issues, shouted the auctioneer. A large alien with 6 arms. He grabbed Nixara's chin with one of his hands. Needs a firm hand, this one does. Still has some fight in her. Nixara pulled her face away. The metal collar around her neck gave a warning shock, making her wince. The collar blocked her natural mind powers. Without it, she could have reached into the thoughts of those around her. With it, her mind felt foggy and weak. The crowd watching her was a mix of the worst types from across the galaxy. Traders, miners, ship captains looking for cheap labor. Some had crueler intentions. Nixara had been sold 4 times already. Each owner had been worse than the last. Bidding starts at 5,000 credits, called the auctioneer. A bargain for Illyrian, even a difficult one. A fat, green-skinned merchant raised a hand. 5,000. Farce 500, called another voice belonging to a thin alien with gray skin. Nixara looked out at the crowd with empty eyes. It didn't matter who bought her. They would work her until she collapsed, beat her when she failed, and sell her again when they grew tired of her resistance. She had promised herself she would never be broken, even if it killed her. As the bidding continued, Nixara noticed something unusual. A human woman stood near the back of the crowd. Humans rarely came to this part of space, and when they did, they never participated in slave markets. The woman had dark skin, short black hair, and wore the practical clothing of a ship captain. She watched the auction with narrowed eyes. 1,000 credits, called a loud voice from the side. The crowd went quiet. A tall figure stepped forward, dressed in the black and red uniform of the Dominion military. Commander Vexthal, one of the officers who had led the attack on Nixara's homeworld. His skin was pale gray with ridges along his hairless head. "The commander honors us with his interest," said the auctioneer with a bow. 8,000 credits from Commander Vexthal. Nixara felt cold fear for the first time in years. Vexthal had recognized her. If he bought her, he wouldn't use her for labor. He would make her disappear forever. "Any other bids?" asked the auctioneer. "Going once." 16,000 credits, said a clear voice. The crowd turned in shock. The human woman had stepped forward, her face calm but determined. 16,000 from the human female, said the auctioneer, surprised. "Commander, do you wish to? Who are you to interfere in Dominion affairs?" demanded Vexthal, glaring at the human. "Captain Olivia Carter of the independent trading vessel Nomad's Fortune," she replied. "And last I checked, this is a free market." 16,000 credits for the Lyrian, the crowd murmured. Humans never bought slaves. Everyone knew they had refused to join the Dominion precisely because they opposed slavery. Vexthal stepped toward Olivia. "This slave is of special interest to Dominion security." "Then you should have detained her properly," Olivia said. "Instead, she's for sale and I'm buying." She held up a credit chip. "Unless you're bidding higher?" The commander's face twisted with anger. He looked at Nixara, then back at Olivia. "You've made an enemy today, human." "Not my first," Olivia replied. "Do we have a deal?" she asked the auctioneer. The 6-armed alien looked between the human and the commander, clearly uncomfortable. "The bid stands at 16,000 credits. Going once. Going twice. Sold to the human captain." Nixara could hardly believe what she had heard. Sold again, but this time to a human. What could a human want with her? Their species had no history of keeping slaves. Was she to be some kind of exotic curiosity? A trophy? 2 market guards unlocked her chains from the platform and handed her control rod to Olivia. As long as someone held that rod, the collar would shock Nixara if she disobeyed or tried to run. "Follow me," Olivia said to her. Not unkindly. They walked through the market, past stalls selling everything from stolen technology to exotic animals. Nixara noticed Vexthal watching them from a distance, speaking quietly into a communication device. "You've made a mistake," Nixara said in a low voice, her first words since being brought to the auction block. "He won't let you leave with me." "I know exactly what I'm doing," Olivia replied, keeping her eyes forward. "Just stay close." They reached a docking bay where a ship waited. It wasn't large, but it looked fast. The name Nomad's Fortune was painted on its side. A woman with short blonde hair stood at the entrance ramp, hand resting on a weapon at her hip. Problems? She asked, looking past Olivia at Nixara. Might be, said Olivia. Zoe, get the engine started. I want to be ready to leave as soon as the docking clamps release. Zoe nodded and disappeared inside the ship. Listen carefully, Olivia said to Nixara as they walked up the ramp. Whatever you think is happening, you're wrong. I need you to trust me for the next few minutes. Can you do that? Nixara stared at the human. Trust? After 3 years of slavery and cruelty? The idea seemed absurd, but something in Olivia's eyes made her nod slightly. Good, said Olivia. Then welcome aboard the Nomad's Fortune. As the ship's door closed behind them, Nixara couldn't help but wonder if she had just traded one prison for another. Yet for the first time in years, she felt something unexpected stirring in her chest. Hope. The inside of the ship was clean and well kept. Nixara followed Olivia through narrow corridors. Crew members stopped to stare at them. A human male with a beard quickly stepped out of their way. A woman with dark hair and glasses looked up from a screen and frowned. Captain, we've got trouble, called Zoe from the front of the ship. Dominion Patrol requesting docking codes and cargo manifest. Give them the codes, said Olivia. Standard cargo list, nothing special. Nixara felt the familiar knot of fear in her stomach. The Dominion wouldn't let her go so easily. Not after Commander Vexthal had shown interest in her. This way, Olivia said, leading Nixara into a small room with a table and some chairs. Please sit down. Nixara remained standing, her back against the wall. The control rod for her collar was still in Olivia's hand. Any moment she expected the shock of punishment. I understand your caution, Olivia said. She placed the control rod on the table. I'm going to do something now. Try not to panic. She pressed a button on the rod. Nixara flinched, expecting pain. Instead, she heard a click as the collar around her neck unlocked. It fell to the floor with a clatter. For the first time in 3 years, Nixara's mind was clear. The fog lifted. Her natural abilities rushed back, making her dizzy. She could sense the thoughts of everyone on the ship. Confusion, curiosity, some fear, and from Olivia. Concern? Better? Asked Olivia. Nixara touched her neck, feeling bare skin where the collar had been. Why? She whispered. Because it's wrong, Olivia said simply. Because no thinking being should own another. The door slid open and a woman with red hair stepped in. She carried a small medical kit. I'm Hannah, ship's doctor, she said. Captain asked me to check you over if that's okay. Nixara's mind touched Hannah's. She found only professional concern. No hidden agenda. Slowly she nodded. As Hannah scanned her with a medical device, Olivia explained, humans never joined the Dominion. We refused to recognize their laws on slavery. What I did back there wasn't just a personal choice. It's part of something bigger. A human operation, Nixara said, reading it from Olivia's surface thoughts. Olivia raised an eyebrow. Your abilities are back, I see. Yes, a human operation. We've been working to undermine the Dominion slave trade where we can. Hannah frowned at her scanner. Malnutrition, dehydration, poorly healed fractures in the right arm and 3 ribs. Some nerve damage from the collar. She looked up at Nixara. I can help with all of this, but it will take time. The ship suddenly lurched, throwing them all slightly off balance. We're moving, Olivia said, touching a communication panel on the wall. Zoe, what's happening? Dominion cruiser just dropped out of hyperspace, Zoe's voice replied. They're demanding we hold position for boarding. I'm taking evasive action. Olivia turned to Nixara. Seems your former admirer isn't giving up easily. You don't understand, Nixara said. The commander? He was at the fall of my world. If he wants me, it's not just as a slave. The ship shook again as something hit their shields. Warning shot, said Zoe over the comm. We can outrun them, but we need time to calculate a jump. Olivia looked at Nixara. We need to know what we're dealing with. Will you tell me why he wants you so badly? Nixara hesitated. Trust was not something she gave easily anymore. But these humans had removed her collar, treated her like a person, and now they were in danger because of her. I was a navigator in the Lyrian Defense Fleet, she said. During the attack on my homeworld, I intercepted communications. Vexthal was working with traitors among our own people. They sabotaged our defenses from within. You have proof? Asked Olivia. I have memories, said Nixara, tapping her temple. The collar suppressed them, but they're coming back now. That's why he can't let me go free. Another impact rocked the ship. Captain to the bridge, Zoe's voice called urgently. Stay with Hannah. Olivia told Nixara, heading for the door. You're not a prisoner here, but for your safety, please remain in this section of the ship. When Olivia was gone, Hannah opened her medical kit. Let's get started on these injuries. The captain will keep us safe. Why help me? Nixara asked as Hannah applied a healing gel to her wrists where the chains had left marks. What do humans gain? Not everything is about gain, Hannah said. Some things are about what's right. The ship rocked violently, then steadied as they accelerated. Nixara could feel the vibration of the engines through the floor. They're following, said a crew member passing by the open door. Hannah finished her treatment and stood up. I've done what I can for now. We'll need more sessions to fix the old injuries properly. If we survive, Nixara said. We will, Hannah replied with surprising confidence. This isn't the first time we've had to run. Hannah left, leaving Nixara alone in the room. Without the collar, she could extend her senses throughout the ship. She felt the crew's tension, their focus. On the bridge, Olivia was making rapid decisions, her mind sharp and determined. There was something else, too. From outside the ship, distant but following, Vextal. His mind was a knot of anger and fear. He was afraid of what Nixara knew. The door opened again. Zoe stood there, her face stern. Captain says you should come to the bridge. If you're going to be hunted, you might as well know what we're doing to stay alive. Nixara followed Zoe through the corridors. Crew members nodded to her as she passed, not with fear or disgust, but with simple acknowledgement, as if she belonged. The bridge was smaller than those of military vessels Nixara had served on. Olivia stood at the center, looking at a display showing a larger ship pursuing them. Ah, good, Olivia said as they entered. Nixara, this is my navigator, Will. His calculations are usually excellent, but I'm thinking you might have some insights on Dominion pursuit tactics. Will, a young man with glasses, gave her a quick smile. Any help would be appreciated. They're matching our course changes faster than they should be able to. Nixara looked at the display. The patterns were familiar. They're using a predictive algorithm based on your engine signature. Each ship has a unique pattern. She pointed to a section of the map. If you cut power for 3 seconds, then go to full thrust here, it will disrupt their tracking. Olivia gave orders to follow Nixara's suggestion. The ship briefly went dark, then surged forward. On the display, the pursuing ship veered off course. It worked, said Will. We've gained enough distance for a jump. Coordinates set, said another crew member. Jump in 5, 4, 3. The stars outside the viewport stretched into lines as the ship entered hyperspace. They had escaped. Olivia turned to Nixara with a smile. Thank you. Seems we have a lot to learn from each other. For the first time in years, Nixara allowed herself a small smile in return. It seems we do. That night, Nixara was given a small private room with a real bed. The door had no lock. She was free to come and go. After Hannah's treatments, her body felt better than it had in years. Her mind, free of the collar, expanded and strengthened with each passing hour. Alone in the quiet room, Nixara sat on the edge of the bed. Freedom. Such a simple word, yet so powerful. She wasn't sure if she remembered how to be free anymore, but she was willing to learn. Days passed on the Nomad's fortune. Nixara slowly adjusted to life without chains. The crew treated her with respect, though some kept their distance. She didn't blame them. After all, she was an alien with mind-reading abilities. Olivia gave Nixara access to most areas of the ship. She spent hours in the observation room, watching the stars streak by. After years in dark cells, the sight of open space filled her with peace. Mind if I join you? Asked Olivia, entering the room one day. Nixara gestured to the empty seat beside her. Your thoughts are calmer than most, less suspicious. Olivia sat down. The others will come around. Zoe is just protective. Will thinks you're fascinating but is too shy to talk to you. And Hannah treats me like I might break, added Nixara. She's seen too many broken people, said Olivia. It's why she joined our mission. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the stars. Where are we going? Nixara finally asked. Neutral space, said Olivia. A station called Outpost Vanguard. It's run by humans but welcomes all species that oppose Dominion expansion. Even Lyrians? Especially Lyrians. Your people have suffered greatly under the Dominion. Some refugees have found sanctuary there. Hope flared in Nixara's chest. My people? There are survivors? Yes, after your world fell, many escaped. They've been working with the Human Defense Coalition. Nixara closed her eyes, overwhelmed. She had believed she was one of the last of her kind. To know others had survived, had continued to fight. An alarm suddenly blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed in the corridor. "Captain to the bridge," called Zoe's voice over the communication system. Olivia jumped up, Nixara right behind her. They rushed through the corridors to the bridge, where the crew worked frantically at their stations. "Report," ordered Olivia. "Navigation systems are malfunctioning," said Will, his fingers flying over his control panel. "We've dropped out of hyperspace in an uncharted sector. And there's an asteroid field ahead." "How convenient," muttered Zoe. "Systems fail just in time for us to crash into rocks." "Can we go around?" asked Olivia. "Not without navigation," said Will. "And backup systems are offline too." Nixara stepped forward. "Let me help. Before I was captured, I was a military navigator." Zoe frowned. "Captain, we can't just do it," Olivia cut her off. "Will, give her access." Will moved aside, allowing Nixara to take his place at the navigation controls. The system was different from what she was used to, but the principles were the same. She quickly assessed their situation. "The asteroid field has a pattern," she said, her fingers moving across the panel. "There's a safe path through it." "How can you tell?" asked Will, watching over her shoulder. "The gravitational interactions create corridors," Nixara explained. "I can feel them." "Feel them?" echoed Zoe skeptically. "Lyrians have spatial awareness abilities," said Olivia. "It's what made them such valued navigators before the war." Nixara guided the ship forward, making small adjustments as they entered the asteroid field. Massive rocks floated past on either side, some close enough to see their cratered surfaces. "There's something odd about these asteroids," said Nixara, frowning. "The pattern is too regular." "Meaning?" asked Olivia. "Meaning someone placed them here," Nixara replied. "This isn't natural. It's..." A large shape moved among the asteroids ahead. A ship much larger than the Nomad's Fortune, its hull dark against the stars. "Trap," finished Olivia. "Everyone, battle stations!" The crew rushed to their positions. Zoe took control of the weapons systems while others secured loose equipment and prepared for possible impact. "Dominion warship," said Will, checking the sensors. "The Relentless Claw, it's commanded by..." "Vexithal," said Nixara, feeling a chill. "He found us." A communication signal chimed. Olivia looked at Nixara, who nodded. "They needed to know what they were facing." "Put it through," Olivia ordered. A screen lit up, showing Commander Vexthal's face. His pale gray skin looked almost white against his black uniform. "Captain Carter," he said smoothly, "you have something that belongs to the Dominion." "I have a passenger who belongs to herself," replied Olivia. "We're in neutral space now. Your laws don't apply here." "Check your position again, Captain," said Vexthal with a cold smile. "You're well within Dominion territory. Your navigation malfunction saw to that." Nixara checked the star charts. He was right. Someone had altered their course. "We have a traitor," she whispered to Olivia. "Return the Lyrian female and I might let your ship continue on its way," said Vexthal. "Refuse and I will take her by force along with your vessel and crew." "Why is she so important to you, Commander?" asked Olivia. "One escaped slave among thousands?" Vexthal's eyes narrowed. "That is Dominion business." "She knows something," Olivia pressed. "Something that threatens you personally." "You have 1 hour to surrender her," said Vexthal, ignoring Olivia's words. "After that I will open fire." The screen went dark. "Options?" Olivia asked her crew. "We can't outrun them," said Will. "Their ship is too fast, especially with our navigation problems." "Fight?" suggested Zoe. "Our weapons are good, but against a warship, we'd lose," finished Olivia. She turned to Nixara. "What does he want with you?" "The whole truth this time." Nixara took a deep breath. "Before my capture, I was monitoring communications during the attack on my world. I intercepted messages between Commander Vexthal and General Kirax of our own military." "A traitor among your people," said Olivia. Nixara nodded. They had been planning the invasion for years. Kirax gave them our defense codes, the locations of our shield generators. That's why we fell so quickly. Her hands clenched into fists. I tried to warn our leaders, but it was too late. The attack had already begun. "And Vexthal knows you have this information," said Olivia. "Yes, he captured me himself. The neural collar was supposed to erase those memories, but it only suppressed them. Now that it's gone, Nixara tapped her temple. Everything is coming back. Evidence of a conspiracy, said Zoe thoughtfully. That would be valuable to more than just the Lyrians. It would expose Dominion tactics, agreed Will. Show how they really conquer worlds, not through superior force, but through treachery. Olivia paced the bridge, thinking, we need to get this information to Outpost Vanguard. The Human Defense Coalition needs to know. But first we need to escape, said Nixara, and find out who sabotaged our navigation. Olivia turned to her crew. Zoe, organize search teams. Check every system for signs of tampering. We'll see if you can restore backup navigation. We have less than an hour. As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Nixara remained at the navigation console, studying the asteroid field. There's something else here, she said quietly. Something hidden. What do you mean? Asked Olivia, joining her. These asteroids, they're not just placed in a pattern. They're emitting a low-level energy field. It's interfering with your ship's systems. Can you block it? Maybe. Nixara adjusted the controls, trying to isolate the signal. There! A transmitter hidden on that large asteroid at coordinates 22789. If we destroy it, began Olivia. Our systems might reset, finished Nixara, but we'd have to get close enough to target it. Olivia smiled. Then that's what we'll do. For the next 30 minutes, Nixara worked with Will to map a path through the asteroid field. Zoe prepared the weapons, calculating the exact power needed to destroy the transmitter, without causing a chain reaction in the field. 10 minutes until Fextal's deadline, warned a crew. Member, we're ready, said Nixara. I can guide us through. All hands prepare for emergency maneuvers, Olivia announced over the ship's communication system. Nixara, take us in. The Nomad's fortune moved forward, weaving between massive asteroids. Nixara's hands flew over the controls, making tiny adjustments. Her mind reached out, feeling the space around them, finding the safe path. Dominion ship is powering weapons, reported Zoe. They've noticed, said Olivia. How much further? Almost in range, said Nixara. Just a little closer. The ship shook as something struck their shields. Warning shot, said Zoe. They're trying to force us back. Keep going, ordered Olivia. Nixara focused, guiding the ship toward the target asteroid. Ready weapons. Weapons locked, confirmed Zoe. Fire, commanded Olivia. A bright energy beam shot from the Nomad's fortune, striking the asteroid precisely where Nixara had indicated. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a small explosion bloomed on the asteroid's surface. Instantly, the ship's systems came back online. Lights that had been dimmed brightened and control panels reset themselves. It worked, exclaimed Will. Navigation is back. Get us out of here, ordered Olivia. Maximum speed. The Nomad's fortune turned sharply, accelerating away from the asteroid field. Behind them, the Dominion warship fired again, but they were already moving too fast. Setting course for Outpost Vanguard, said Will. We can make the jump to hyperspace in 30 seconds. As the crew prepared for the jump, Olivia placed a hand on Nixara's shoulder. Thank you. You saved us all. Nixara looked up at her. We saved each other. The stars stretched into lines as the ship jumped to hyperspace, leaving the Dominion warship behind. But Nixara knew this wasn't over. Bextal would follow them. And when they reached Outpost Vanguard, she would have to face not just her enemy, but perhaps her own people as well. Outpost Vanguard appeared on the view screen as the Nomad's fortune exited hyperspace. The station was massive, a wheel-shaped structure with ships of various designs docked along its outer ring. Soft blue lights marked living quarters, while the central hub glowed with the bright white of command centers and operations. Home sweet home, said Will with obvious relief. Don't celebrate yet, warned Zoe. We still don't know who sabotaged our navigation systems. Olivia turned to Nixara. Can you sense anything? Any thoughts that might reveal our traitor? Nixara closed her eyes, extending her mind throughout the ship. The crew's thoughts washed over her. Fear, excitement, exhaustion. Nothing that indicated betrayal? No, she said finally. Either they're hiding their thoughts well or they're not on board anymore. A remote sabotage, then, said Olivia. Or someone who left before we departed Carax's station. Either way, we need to be careful, said Zoe. The Dominion has eyes everywhere. As they approached the station, a communication signal chimed. Nomad's Fortune, this is Outpost Vanguard Control. Please identify and state your business. This is Captain Olivia Carter, Olivia replied. Authorization code Echo 7 Tango 9. Requesting emergency docking and security clearance. We have high-value intelligence regarding Dominion operations. There was a pause before the controller responded. Understood, Captain. Proceed to Docking Bay 14. Security team will meet you there. The Nomad's Fortune glided toward the assigned bay, slipping through the station's defensive shield perimeter. As they docked, Nixara felt a flutter of anxiety. What would happen to her now? Olivia seemed to sense her concern. You'll be safe here. This station is run by the Human Defense Coalition. The Dominion can't touch you. When they disembarked, a group of uniformed humans waited for them. A tall woman with silver-streaked black hair stepped forward. Captain Carter, she said, clasping Olivia's arm in greeting. Your message said it was urgent. Admiral Blake, Olivia replied. It is. May I introduce Nixara, formerly of the Lyrian Defense Fleet. Admiral Madison Blake studied Nixara with sharp eyes. A Lyrian navigator. We haven't seen one of your kind in quite some time. Many of us died when our world fell, said Nixara. Others were enslaved. But not you, said Admiral Blake. Not anymore. Thanks to Captain Carter, Nixara confirmed. Let's continue this conversation somewhere more private, suggested the Admiral. The Dominion has been increasing patrols near our borders. I assume that's connected to your arrival. Very much so, said Olivia. They were escorted to a secure meeting room in the station's command center. Guards posted outside ensured their privacy. Admiral Blake activated a jamming field to prevent electronic eavesdropping. Now, she said, sitting at the head of the table, tell me everything. Olivia explained how she had purchased Nixara at the slave market, their escape from Vexthal, and the ambush in the asteroid field. Nixara then shared what she remembered about the fall of her homeworld. The betrayal by General Kirax, the Dominion's tactics, and Vexthal's personal involvement. This confirms what we've suspected, said Admiral Blake when they finished. The Dominion doesn't just conquer through superior force. They identify weaknesses, exploit divisions, turn people against each other. My memories would be evidence, said Nixara. If there was a way to extract and verify them. There might be, said the Admiral thoughtfully. We have specialists in memory retrieval. With your permission, of course. You have it, Nixara said without hesitation. Whatever helps bring justice to my people. Admiral Blake nodded. I'll arrange it. In the meantime, you'll be given quarters here on the station. Captain Carter, I need to speak with you privately about your next assignment. As Olivia and the Admiral stepped aside, a young woman approached Nixara. She had short brown hair and friendly eyes. I'm Lily, she said. I'll be working with you on the memory retrieval. Nixara sensed something different about Lily's mind. You're a telepath, Lily smiled. One of the few humans born with the ability. Not as powerful as Illyrian, but enough to help guide the process. The machine does most of the work. What machine? Asked Nixara warily. It's called a neural imager, explained Lily. It creates a visual record of memories. Completely safe, I promise. Before Nixara could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Attention all personnel, announced a voice over the station's communication system. Multiple Dominion vessels detected approaching from Sector 7. Battle stations. This is not a drill. Admiral Blake rushed back to the table, followed by Olivia. They found us faster than expected. Vexthal must have tracked your ship somehow. Impossible, said Olivia. We checked for tracking devices after the asteroid field incident. Then they followed your hyperspace wake, suggested the Admiral. Either way, they're here and in force. 3 warships, including the Relentless Claw. What are our defenses? Asked Nixara. Good, but not enough against 3 warships, admitted Admiral Blake. We need to evacuate non-essential personnel. I should leave, said Nixara. I'm the one they want. No, Olivia said firmly. If you leave, they'll just capture you again. Your evidence is too important. And we don't abandon people to the Dominion, added Admiral Blake. Not ever. The room's display screen activated, showing the approaching Dominion ships. They were still at a distance, but moving steadily closer. They're hailing us, reported a communications officer. Put it through, ordered Admiral Blake. Commander, Vexthal's face appeared on the screen. He looked smug, confident in his position of power. Admiral Blake, he said, The Dominion requests the immediate surrender of the Lyrian criminal in your custody, along with the human vessel that illegally transported her into Dominion space. This station is in neutral territory. Commander, replied Admiral Blake, your jurisdiction doesn't extend here. The criminal Nixara is wanted for acts of sabotage and terrorism against Dominion forces. Her extradition is required under Section 12 of the Galactic Security Treaty. A treaty the Human Defense Coalition never signed, countered the Admiral. And even if we had, your claims would require evidence presented to a neutral arbiter. Vexthal's expression hardened. I will not engage in legal debates with you, Admiral. Surrender the Lyrian or face the consequences. Is one escaped slave worth starting a war over, Commander? Asked Admiral Blake. This is not about a slave, snapped Vexthal. This is about Dominion security. You mean your security? Said Nixara, stepping into view. You're afraid I'll tell everyone how you worked with traitors to destroy my world. How you murdered millions not through superior strength but through lies and betrayal. Vexthal's face contorted with rage. You have 1 hour to surrender her. After that, we will take her by force. The screen went dark. He's serious, said Admiral Blake. They're positioning for an attack. We need to complete the memory extraction before they get here, said Olivia. If we have solid evidence of their tactics, we can share it with other neutral worlds. Show them what alliance with the Dominion really means. Agreed, said the Admiral. Lily, take Nixara to the neural imaging lab immediately. Start the process. I'll organize our defenses. Lily led Nixara through corridors now filled with personnel rushing to battle stations. They entered a section marked Medical Research and passed through several security checkpoints before reaching a room with strange equipment. This is the neural imager, explained Lily, gesturing to a chair surrounded by curved metal arms. It will scan your brain while I help you focus on specific memories. The process doesn't hurt, but it can be emotionally draining. I'm ready, said Nixara, sitting in the chair. Focus on the day your world fell, instructed Lily, as she activated the machine. Specifically the communications you intercepted between Vexthal and General Kirax. Nixara closed her eyes. The memories came flooding back. The panic in the command center, the confusion as defense systems failed, her own horror as she realized what was happening. She remembered intercepting the transmission, hearing Vexthal's voice. The shield generators are down. Proceed as planned. Remember our agreement, General. And Kirax's reply, the northern continent is yours. My loyalists will control the rest under Dominion guidance. No one suspects, Lily gasped. It's working. The images are so clear. A screen beside them showed what Nixara was remembering, not just sounds but visual records from the command center's monitors. Faces, tactical displays, transmission logs, everything needed to prove the conspiracy. We need to get this to Admiral Blake, said Lily when they finished. This is exactly what we've been looking for. The station shook suddenly. Distant explosions echoed through the walls. They're attacking early, said Lily, quickly downloading the memory data. We need to move. They hurried back toward the command center but were stopped by a security team. The Admiral has ordered all non-combat personnel to evacuation stations, said the team leader. The memory data will be transmitted to her directly. I want to help, insisted Nixara. I have military training. I know Dominion tactics. The security officer hesitated, then nodded. Follow me. We need all the help we can get. They were led to a defense station where Olivia was already helping coordinate fighter squadrons. Nixara, she called when she saw them. Did it work? The airlock hissed open. Nixara led the way into the dark corridor of the relentless claw, her senses alert for any sign of Dominion soldiers. The ship smelled of metal and recycled air, bringing back memories of her captivity. We need to reach the command center, she whispered to Olivia and the others. 3 levels up, central section. Security checkpoints? Asked Zoe, checking her weapon. 2, maybe 3, replied Nixara. But I know the access codes, or at least I knew them before my capture. They might have changed. We'll deal with that when we come to it, said Olivia. For now, let's move quickly and quietly. They made their way through service tunnels and maintenance shafts, avoiding the main corridors where soldiers would be stationed. Nixara's knowledge of Dominion ship design proved invaluable. Twice they had to hide as patrols passed nearby. The ship is on high alert, Nixara noted. More guards than usual. They're preparing to destroy the station, said one of the security officers. We don't have much time. They reached the first security checkpoint, a sealed door with a biometric scanner. Nixara examined it, then shook her head. I can't bypass this. It requires Dominion DNA. Then we'll have to create a distraction, said Olivia. She turned to two of the team members. Set charges at Junction B7, make it look like a reactor leak. That should draw security away from this area. The team members nodded and hurried back the way they had come. Minutes later, alarms blared throughout the ship. The security door slid open as guards rushed toward the source of the supposed leak. Now, ordered Olivia. They slipped through the door and continued upward. The next level was quieter, with most personnel responding to the emergency. They encountered only one guard whom Zoe quickly subdued with a stun blast. The command center is just ahead, said Nixara as they reached the upper level, but Vextal will be there along with his senior officers. How many? Asked Olivia. At least 10 plus Vextal himself. Olivia considered this. We need a way to separate him from the others. I might know how, said Nixara. There's a private communication room adjacent to the command center. If we could lure him there, how? Asked Zoe. Nixara took a deep breath. By letting him know I'm here. He wants me badly enough that he might come alone to ensure I don't escape again. Too risky, said Olivia immediately. He could just send guards to capture you. Not if he thinks I have the memory data with me, said Nixara, touching the pocket where Lily's chip was hidden. He'll want to handle that personally. Olivia looked uncertain but nodded. All right. But we stay together. No one faces him alone. They reached a service panel near the command center. Nixara accessed the ship's internal communication system and entered a code. Commander Vextal, she said clearly. This is Nixara. I'm on your ship, and I have the neural recordings from Outpost Vanguard. If you want them, meet me in Communication Room 3. Come alone or I destroy the data. She disconnected before he could respond. Now we wait, she said. They didn't have to wait long. Less than 5 minutes later, the door to the communication room opened and Commander Vextal entered. He wore his black uniform with its silver insignia of rank. His pale face showed surprise when he saw not just Nixara, but Olivia, Zoe, and the others, weapons raised. Quite the reception committee, he said, his voice cold. I should have known you wouldn't come alone. You taught me the value of deception, Commander, replied Nixara. Surrender the ship. Call off the attack on Outpost Vanguard. Vexathal laughed. You're in no position to make demands. My guards are right outside, are they? Asked Olivia. Check your internal sensors. Your ship is experiencing multiple system failures. Your guards are busy dealing with those. Doubt flickered across Vextal's face as he glanced at a nearby console. The screen showed red alerts across several sectors of the ship. What do you want? He asked finally. For you to face justice, said Nixara. For the destruction of my world. For the deaths of millions of Lyrians. Your world was weak, spat Vextal. Your people divided. We merely exploited what was already there. By bribing traitors, said Nixara. By promising General Kirak's power in exchange for sabotaging our defenses. Politics and war are often the same thing, said Vextal with a shrug. The strong survive. The weak become slaves. Or die. Enough talk, said Zoe, her weapon steady. Order your ships to stand down. Or what? You'll kill me? Vextal smiled thinly. My death would change nothing. The attack will proceed regardless. Then we'll take control of the ship ourselves, said Olivia. You won't leave this room alive, said Vextal. His hand moved to his belt where a small device was attached. I suspected a trap. That's why I brought this. He pressed a button on the device. A high-pitched sound filled the room, painful even to human ears. To Nixara, with her sensitive Lyrian hearing, it was agony. She fell to her knees, hands pressed to her head. Neural disruptor, said Vextal, unaffected due to small implants in his ears. Designed specifically for Lyrian physiology. It simulates the effect of the control collar, but more intensely. Olivia and the others winced at the sound but remained standing. Zoe fired at Vextal, but he ducked behind a console. The shot hit the wall, leaving a scorch mark. Drop your weapons, ordered Vextal, or I increase the frequency. It will kill her within minutes. Nixara fought through the pain, struggling to think clearly. The sound was similar to the collar's punishment mode, but something was different. During her recovery on the Nomad's Fortune, Hannah had treated her neural pathways, healing the damage done by years of wearing the collar. Do as he says, gasped Nixara. She caught Olivia's eye, giving a slight shake of her head. a signal to play along. Reluctantly, Olivia lowered her weapon. The others followed suit. Wise decision, said Vexthal, emerging from behind the console. Now the data chip. In my pocket, said Nyxera, still on her knees. As Vexthal approached, she focused her mind, pushing through the pain of the disruptor. Hannah's treatments had done more than heal her. They had changed her neural patterns just enough that the disruptor wasn't as effective as Vexthal believed. When he reached for the chip, Nyxera struck. Her hand grabbed his wrist, twisting sharply. With her other hand, she seized the neural disruptor and crushed it. The painful sound stopped. In the sudden silence, Nyxera rose to her feet, still gripping Vexthal's arm. Impossible, he hissed. The disruptor should have incapacitated you. I've changed since you knew me, said Nyxera. I'm not your slave anymore. Vexthal reached for his sidearm, but Zoe was faster. Her stun blast hit him squarely in the chest, sending him crashing to the floor. The bridge, said Olivia urgently. We need to get to the bridge and stop the attack. They secured Vexthal with restraints, then made their way to the ship's bridge. The confusion caused by their sabotage had worked. Many security personnel were still dealing with the false emergencies throughout the vessel. They encountered only token resistance, quickly overcome. When they burst onto the bridge, the Dominion officers turned in shock. Seeing their commander captive and multiple weapons pointed at them, they surrendered without a fight. Order the fleet to stand down, Olivia told the first officer. Now. The officer hesitated, looking at Vexthal for guidance. Do it, said Vexthal bitterly. This battle is lost, the command was given. On the main view screen, they watched as the Dominion ship ceased fire on Outpost Vanguard. The station had taken damage, but its main structures remained intact. Contact Admiral Blake, Olivia instructed one of their team. Tell her we have control of the relentless claw and that Vexthal is our prisoner. While the message was sent, Nyxera accessed the ship's computer. Using her old security clearance, which surprisingly still worked, she downloaded files from the command database. What are you looking for? Asked Zoe. Confirmation, replied Nyxera. And there it is. Communications between Vexthal and General Kirax. Details of the conspiracy. Lists of other worlds they've infiltrated the same way. She looked up, her eyes bright. This isn't just about Lyria. They've done this dozens of times. Turned people against each other, exploited divisions, created traitors. Evidence that could turn many Dominion allies against them, said Olivia. Admiral Blake's face appeared on the communication screen. Captain Carter, report. Mission successful, Admiral. We have control of the enemy flagship and Commander Vexthal in custody. The other Dominion vessels have stood down. Excellent work, said Admiral Blake. We're receiving reports from across the sector. The evidence Nyxera provided has already reached a dozen neutral worlds. 3 Dominion allies have suspended their treaties pending investigation. There's more, said Nyxera, stepping forward. The ship's database contains records of similar operations against other worlds. A pattern of conquest through deception, not just military force. Download everything, ordered the Admiral. This could change the balance of power throughout the galaxy. She paused, then added, There's something else you should know. We've made contact with a Lyrian resistance fleet. They've been hiding in the Andromeda Nebula, gathering strength. Their commander is on her way to the station now. Nyxera felt her heart leap. My people still fight? Very much so, confirmed Admiral Blake. They never gave up. And now, with this evidence, they might finally reclaim their homeworld.